What's up? Tonight I'm smoking the Casa Cuba Doble Dose. It's a Lonsdale, 6.5 by 42. According to Fuente's website, this is an Ecuadorian Havana wrapper. I guess it's just Cuban seed tobacco grown in Ecuador, and then it's Cuban seed binder and filler grown in the Dominican Republic. It smells like cinnamon. It's got some of this this funk to it. If you smell some Casa Cubas, not Casa, some Casa Fuentes and some Opuses, some of their higher grade stuff has this funk to it. You'll know it right when you smell it, because if it's the first time you smell it, you think maybe something's wrong with it, but it's not. It means it's delicious. So yeah, it's a lot of cinnamon, sweet tobacco, maybe like a maple syrup note maybe, but a lot of cinnamon and that funk, and it's a beautiful looking stick. I'm gonna light this up and then take a walk and update you. Nice smooth light up. Just creamy right off the bat. Sweet cream with a little bit of caramel, a little bit of a light roast coffee base, white pepper at about a 4 out of 5, 3 out of 5. I'm sorry, 4 out of 10, 3 out of 10. And there's a little bit of a grassy note. And there's a cedar note. It's a nice start. I've had this cigar since August of 2025. It's now late January. I don't know how long it was at the brick and mortar, which is typically where you find them. If you buy them online, you're usually buying them from like a brick and mortar selling it online, because I think they're exclusive to brick and mortars. Nonetheless, I digress. We're off to a good start. Tasting great. I'll update you toward the end of the first third. Okay, it's time for an update. First third is done. It's performing pretty well. It got a bit wavy. Actually, it's been kind of wavy the whole time. I think I got off to a good light, but it's possible that I didn't. Either way, it's perfectly serviceable, and no effect to the flavor. This thing produces a lot of smoke, so it's all good. Performance-wise, we're good. As far as flavors go, I mean, you're gonna think I'm exaggerating here, but on the retro hill, this thing is like, it's like a coconut cream pie mixed with a key lime pie. I shit you not. I'm not BSing you one bit. If you smoke cigars long enough to where you don't just get smoke as a note and you can pick notes out, I think that you're going to get these notes on a well-rested Casa Cuba. Yeah, it's so good. I mean, that's the main thing you get is a toasted almond, a toasted coconut. You get this key lime type sweetness. It's very creamy. It's really good. You get a cinnamon on that. There's a touch of nutmeg. There's still a white pepper on top, maybe 2.5 out of 5. There's one thing I don't like about the pepper sensation is it hits the back of your throat. And it's not acrid, but it's hitting the back of the throat in a way that I don't like a whole lot. That's the only thing I can knock this cigar on so far. There's a bit of a sweet floral note, and it's a sweet floral note that's on top. Underneath, you still got like a light roast coffee. There's a bit of oak there, and not on that layer, but up in the middle to mid-high register, you're getting a nice sweet cedar. Yeah, that toasted coconut key lime sweetness is it's the highlight of the show to go along with that cinnamon. It's really nice. Everything's really balanced. There's a lot of flavors to pick up, and it's just really good. I like it. I like it a lot. Is there anything that I'm missing at this point? I don't really think that there is. If there is, then I'll See if I can remember on the end of the second third. See you in a bit. All right, second third is done. You can see that the burn line has straightened up. Ash is holding on very well. Still a lot of smoke. Everything's performing just fine. So all positive marks there. Before I move on, there were a couple things that I did forget from the first third. That was burn time, which is right around 18 to 19 minutes. And also body, flavor, and strength. Body and flavor, I think, come right into a medium to medium plus. And the strength is mild plus, mild to medium. No nicotine kick here, which is just fine. Now, on to flavor. It's just extraordinarily a delicious cigar with a lot of flavor. So everything about it has gotten richer. The oak has gotten richer on the bottom. There's a brown sugar or a maple sweetness, I'm not sure which you would call it, that has notched up on the bottom end and is very apparent. The toasted almond, the toasted coconut, and the vanilla cream has gotten richer. But the vanilla cream has stepped up in the profile. Coconut and almond are still there, and it's of the toasted variety for sure. Now that key lime note, it doesn't have the iridescence. That's the best word I can describe it. It doesn't have the iridescence that it had in the first third and the first part of the second third. The lime note is still there, but it's richer, and it doesn't have that sparkly, iridescent type of high note. That pepper, you still get the flavor of a little bit of sensation of pepper, but it's in the right place. It's right on the palate. It's not being a pesky participant in the back of your throat, so I'm glad that that's gone. Still a nice sweet cedar, and the florality, if it's there, it's not really hitting me. So that's taking a step back. The cinnamon is still there, but I think the nutmeg has stepped up and is a little bit stronger than the cinnamon now. It's all very pleasant though. Yeah, this second third, it's about 19 minutes, and I'm chugging. I'm chugging this cigar. I get in power walking mode out here and try to set land speed records, and I just start chugging the cigar. So even with me chugging the cigar and it's windy out here and it's almost misty, we're still getting great flavors and great performance out of the cigar. So that's very good. On a scale of E or F for failing, all the way up to like an S tier, let me let this truck pass. I'll go back and I'll rate the first third an A minus, and I'm not going to knock it for the wavy burn line. I'm just going to knock it for that pesky pepper note that hit the back of my throat. I just don't like that very much. It's fine on the palate. I don't like it in the back of the throat. If it weren't for that, it would be an A. It'd be a solid A. I could take off more than one mark for that. I'm tempted to, but let's just say the first third is an A minus. I'm looking past that just a little bit, but I got to recognize it in the score. Second, third, I like the transitions. I like how it tastes. I like how that note doesn't hit the back of the throat anymore and it lands on the palate correctly, and it's also died down. It's gotten richer. The transitions are nice. Flavor's there. So I'm going to give the second third a solid A. A solid A, leaning towards an A plus. So, all right, I'm going to finish this thing up. It's not going to take long because I'm chugging it, and I'll give you notes on the final third and then some final thoughts. All right, this thing is coming to a close. I could continue to nub this, but I'm ready to go inside and get something to eat. Total smoke time, about an hour. and that's me chugging in the wind. Performance is good. There's still a lot of smoke. Now, as far as body goes, this thing is notched up to medium plus. The strength has notched up to a medium plus. I can feel a little bit of the strength now. The quality of the smoke is still creamy, but it's starting to get this a little bit chalky. From the bottom, you got brown sugar, but it's not as rich as it was in the second third. You've got toasted oak, and there's quite a bit more toasted oak. It's kind of filling out the body of the cigar, I would say. You still have some toasted coconut, but it's more of like a richer toasted vanilla as far as the flavor note goes. As far as its prominence in the profile, that's taken a step back. You still have nutmeg and cinnamon in there. You still have some white pepper in there. That white pepper is about how it's actually ramping up a little bit in the end here. I think it started off strong. I don't know if you can see this from left to right or what, but kind of started off strong, stronger, and in the middle third it died down, and it's picking back up in the final third. And I would put it at somewhere like a 3.5 or so. I've been getting pops of sweet florality, no grassiness, but pops of here and there, just kind of like one puff it's there and then it's not there for the next 5 puffs. But there'll be like a puff where you get a very clear florality, a sweet florality, and it reminded me of something, and I couldn't put my finger on it. It reminded me of the way that it was mixing with other flavors. It reminded me of something more than sweet florality. It had a remembrance of a flavor, and I just can't put my finger on it. I hate that when that happens. Happens a lot. That lime note, I feel like there's some lemon creeping in, but it still comes across as lime. And the quality of that flavor note, I would liken to a lifesaver. The flavor of the note, not the sensation of sweetness. So it's not like you got a lifesaver in your mouth and you get that blast of sweetness, but the quality of that note on the retro hail is kind of like a lifesaver. So the iridescence kind of came back a little bit, but the other things that are happening with the cigar are such that that note doesn't come across as like a key lime pie anymore. But it is still very much there, and it is very good. Cedar's still there. Yeah, I could nub this, but I'm gonna go inside. Final thoughts on the cigar. Well, let me give you some final thoughts on the final third. I like where it went. I think the oak came in a little bit too strong, but there were no acrid notes. There's no char notes. None of the bad stuff that happens in the final third of a cigar that a lot of us are used to when they kind of take a nosedive. This one did not. It just kind of picked up on the oak, and the oak stepped in the profile more than I wanted it to. And the other flavors kind of backed off and mixed in a way that I would have preferred that they didn't, because I really liked how it was going. But it did transition, so it kept it interesting. That being said, I like the second third the most. I would put the final third at a B+, I would say. A B+ to an A-. Overall, I don't know how that adds up in the end, but my overall impressions of this cigar, the entire experience from start to finish, is just a solid A. It's got to be a solid A. I think at the price of this cigar, we'll move on to final thoughts now. I think the price of this cigar, I want to say I spent $12 on the cigar. I mean, I bought a box, and it is a box-worthy cigar as far as I'm concerned. $12. I mean, it's just a killer cigar for 12 bucks. And it's just Fuente through and through. And the toasted coconut and the cinnamon notes and the lime and the creaminess and just everything about it, except for that pesky spice in the back of the throat, I can get down with. And I really enjoyed all of it. Yeah, box-worthy cigar. You should be able to get it at a brick and mortar, either online from a brick and mortar or at face-to-face at the store for around 12 bucks a stick. Killer cigar through and through. Other Vitolas. I want to touch on that real quick, and then I'll close this out. I've had every Vitola of the Casa Cuba except for the Seis. I have a Seis, and it's just marinating in the humidor for about a half a year now. So I gotta try that one. It's shorter than this, and it's a larger ring gauge. I couldn't tell you. I mean, it's more like a fat Robusto than anything else, as I can recall. Now that one might come across as my favorite Vitola, but I doubt it will. Maybe it will. I don't want to prejudge it, but the dose, the Doble dose, to me is several steps ahead of all the other Vitolas, including the I think it's called the Divine Inspiration. A lot of people prefer the Divine Inspiration because it's a tweaked blend, and I don't, I'm not clear on the whole backstory on that, but my understanding is that it's a tweaked blend. It may not have as much in common with the other Casa Cuba Vitolas that people think, and that they might have used the Casa Cuba name for some kind of regulation purpose. I don't know. I can't really get into that. I've also heard people say that the Divine Inspiration started out great, and then they tweaked the blend of the Divine Inspiration after that. And it's not as good as it was. I don't know. I've had several of them, and I think they're a great cigar. I enjoy them a lot. But the Doble Dos, compared to all of them, including the Divine Inspiration, to me just packs so much more flavor. I like Lonsdale's, but I don't like this one by virtue of simply it being Lonsdale. I like it because of aside from the performance, which is great, and all that other stuff, smoke production, it's just through and through. It's a great cigar from start to finish, and it provides more flavor than any other Vitolas have thus far. So until I smoke the Seis and we can rank that one, this is far and away my favorite Casa Cuba. Can't think of anything else. Total smoke time. I guess that same truck. Total smoke time came in around an hour. And florality. That pop of florality comes across when I kind of take a break from the cigar. Speaking of which, do you want to roll Pola? I guess he's not rolling coal, he's just accelerating the stop sign. Just got a loud truck. But speaking of which, if I wasn't out here walking, trying out for the Olympics, then this cigar would have lasted longer. It's kind of a theme when I go on these walks. These cigars would all last longer and probably get more nuanced flavors, different flavors, etc. if I had taken my time with this. But even under such poor smoking conditions and poor treatment of the cigar, it is a banger and a bye.